Welcome to our session with Mike, showing us the magic of a solver in multi-way hands. Take it away, Mike.
Yeah, okay. So we'll continue with our multi-way March Madness. So we got Alif, looks like you're new to the group. One thing that we do is we look at we're gonna do is we're gonna look at this is our all filtered. We'll eventually get to see a flop and we'll be multi-way. But what we try to do is we try to see what in theory what we should be doing here pre-flops. We're gonna see all the cards. And like I'll go first and basically just kind of narrate if you're in each position, what you would do, um, and see if your ranges match up with what theory says is correct, based on certain charts and that sort of thing. So I'll go first just to get us going. So basically, I'm just going to kind of narrate what we should do here. So we should be folding here. The four deuces folding 6-5 suited in the low jack. Definitely has some raises in a lot of charts. It's usually a mix, a low frequency raise. This specific hand for me is I would raise this hand. I randomize based on suits and that sort of thing. But anyway, I would raise there. King Queen suited would be a three bet for me, assuming 6-5 raises. And then it should fold around. But let's see what happens. Now we get to see what actually happens. This is 100 no limit on ignition. So we're going to get to see what the player pool actually does here. So we get to see. So they do raise their 6-5 suited. King Queen suited. Again, I said it would be a three bet if it were me. Let's see what happens here. They flat. And then it should fold around. I suppose 4-5 suited could get a little a little spicy and do some three betting, but I don't do that there. And then fold the 10-6 suited, but he flats. So we can already see there's some deviations and some fishy play happening here. The king queen suited is reasonable to flat there. Most of the charts say to three bet it, but here we go. We're going to see a flop three ways. All right, so 10-6 suited should check. And in theory, they should probably be checking range here.
Yeah.
6-5, the original razor. I know that, and what we're going to get to see is we're going to get to see some of these hands and how a solver, we're using Prometheus three-way solvers to see what theory likes in a balanced strategy. But 6-5 suited could potentially c-bet. I know that when you're second to act, or when there's still somebody to act, you still check a lot of your range. So we'll see what he does here. He checks, and now the king queen suited in position on a flop that's probably not too bad for somebody who flats in position. I'm going to guess would get a lot of bets here. And they decide to check behind.
And I would expect that specific hand to be in the group that bets.
Yeah, I agree. I think this king queen of hearts
But
is,
yeah, hearts is enough.
yeah, is going to get some bets here. And one heuristic that we were trying to pay attention to was when it goes check, check to the player in position who has the option to check and see a turn. We've seen a large size bet in the B66 range to a small size B33 range, and we'll see if this holds true in this flop. All right, so we get to see a turn 10-6. I suppose this is somewhere where this 10-6, by the way, he's a broken stack, could possibly start taking some action on this kind of board. But we know that players kind of don't really get too aggressive and pool. Now the 6-5, now that it's gone checked around, I would say 6-5 probably isn't a bad bet now. Protection slash.
I would do it. I mean, if I were here live, I would absolutely take this as permission to bet it.
Yeah, if this were me too, and I think any of us could be here with 6-5 suited in the low jack to this kind of action. I too would probably bet this. I would bet it for a small size.
Me too.
Now that it gets around to the king queen, um, they did not take a shot at it on the flop. Maybe it's kind of a hand that's probably decent enough to possibly get to showdown. They do go for it. They go for a big size.
I hate this.
Me
And
too.
it
Yeah.
takes it,
I don't hate the bet, but I hate the size. We'll see if the solver does.
yeah. Any thoughts so far? What do we predict? Anything?
I think that you've been dead. I think you've been dead on right, on your analysis so far.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The one difference we'll see here is that we're going to put that in position caller on the button because we don't have a choice. So
Yeah.
they actually are in the cutoff, but we're going to put them in the button, which obviously will change a little bit of the strategy. But I think for our purposes, it'll be good to see how
Yeah.
things play out.
Yeah.
All right, so we had a 7, 7, 7, 5 of diamonds, 7 of hearts. So the big blind has a not insignificant amount of donking here, and that flop kind of says, you know, a big blind flatting range is probably not too bad for that.
Yeah.
So there's some donking that can happen. They check the 6-5 original razor in the low jack.
A significant amount of betting now, 25%.
And it really really likes the betting with that back door, which seems natural. But yeah, notice across the range here, it still checks a lot, still checks 85% of the time.
Would you take a look at one of those high card suited hands like the king, queen, king, jack, and just see, are they only hearts or are they only diamonds or do they also get some hearts? No, only diamonds for them. Okay. And then we'll see when it gets to the button whether the hearts come in, because the diamonds are certainly going to be there.
Notice again, ace, king, very top non-paired is not betting. Ace, king suited.
And here you see in the offsuit branch, the ace of diamonds, jack of diamonds, that back door slotted into your betting bucket.
Yeah.
Blocking continues, yeah.
Yeah. And so there's two ways of looking at that. One is is that you're betting the ace or the jack of diamonds because you have backdoor equity. And the other way to look at it is you're only allowed to bet these two high cards if you also have a diamond.
Yeah.
You get the same result, but mentally it's a different picture.
So the 6-5 checks, and yeah, just as we kind of suspected, look at this. Now they don't have the big bets in here. Interesting to see, but look at how often they get to bet on this flop.
Get the bet 25.
They bet 62% of the time.
62% of the time.
Huge.
And
Totally leveraging their positional advantage.
Right. So we're going to assume, all of those, we're going to assume all the ace, queen and king, queen and ace, jack have at least have one diamond in them on the offsuit branch. That's what we're going to assume, that these are only with a diamond.
Bingo.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's that little bit.
Good call.
Yeah. Yeah. So you need a diamond to do it. And when you're in the back seat, you almost required to do a diamond. And then in the back seat, here was the thing I was least right about. The hearts do it the least.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, you know where I think that comes from? If you look at UTG's range, he has a very protected checking range.
Yeah.
Right? Now, the question I would have for you is humans who are going to be more linear than what we see in the solve here out of position. Does that allow us to move more of our semi bluffs to the back door?
I don't think
Because
we
if
should.
UTG is going to be more linear and bet with the top of his range and not protect it, he's going to have less check raises.
I don't think so. I think that we should take the lesson from that we bet the diamonds because we don't mind a check raise, because we'll call. We bet the clubs and the spades because we don't mind a check raise because we'll fold, but let's not lose the hearts. The
So
hearts really want to
3%
see them
backdoor
go.
equity over cards,
Right.
yeah.
And so if you want to, so the exploit where you say is they don't check raise that much, so I'm not worried about my hearts, I would say then increase the number of spades and clubs you bet,
Alright, that's fair.
as opposed to increasing your hearts.
Yeah,
Because-
I generally think people are gonna be more linear
Yeah.
than what we see here.
Yeah, so they won't be polar here, so they'll have fewer check raises and they won't have as many check raise bluffs. But when they check raise, we don't want to throw away our hearts. So let's get the same percentage, let's expose ourselves as much as you want to, which is more than the solver does, but by increasing our low equity side. That's what I think is the better exploit, because when they do check raise, they're not bluffing. They don't have the bluffs. So we absolutely don't care about throwing away the king queens of the wrong suit. That's my argument. What do you think?
Yeah, it makes sense. It
Okay,
makes sense. I mean, yeah. That if we are going to have bluffs, we throw them more into our no equity bucket and not into our backdoor equity bucket.
right.
That makes sense.
Talking about, I remember we had said that maybe we might see some bigger bets now, would be something that we've seen. I'm thinking the reason we do not see the big bets here, like we've seen in the past, is this is a paired board. That's pretty decent for the big blind. So the big blind still is kind of uncapped, so to speak.
Yeah, that's a
Uh,
good point.
in other
Paired
words,
board.
Yeah, like I'm wondering if we change this to like a 9-7-5 or a 10-7-5 or something like that, if you start to see the bigger bets sneak in, but maybe something we can explore, but maybe that's something we're gonna see. And that's why we don't see a big bet.
Yeah, I'll put that in the Prometheus notes, whether because there's also a difference between king 5 and 7-7-5 that we might want to look at. And we know that if it's ace 7-5, we expect to see, we don't know. We expect to see big bets on ace 7-5.
So they check, which was right pretty good in their in the strategy. Then we got to see a 2 of diamonds.
It's gonna make us have the awkward silence, awkward pause. I wish we had a juggler around to just, take up the time.
Yeah, I've got there. I'm typing in the other thing. I'll juggle
Or
for
like
you.
give a mini quiz or something.
Yeah,
Because
but-
55 seconds is a lot.
While that is going, here is what Prometheus uses as their range. We went and checked and asked the developers, what do they use for their ranges? And they use a 500 zoom, 100 big blind mixed RFI strategy, which has a 5% rake and a 0.6 big blind cap, something like that.
Okay,
Um,
so
and
probably very similar to, what is it? What's
What
the
is-
cap? Let's go look at,
5% in a
A 1.6 big blind cap. They said yes.
Yeah, 0.6 big blind cap is what they said.
0.6.
Yeah.
The games I play, it's 5% no cap.
Oh, no cap. Ow, ow, ow. Move.
So while we're waiting on some of those solver calculations, we can look at that and see how things look. All right, so we got the 2 of diamonds. Now the big blind still continues to check. That's something that we've seen, right? When
Mhm.
they check, they continue to sort of check. They don't often lead here.
Still slow playing their sevens.
Yeah.
And their sevens, by the way, are not even happy now because now there are flushes against them.
Now the original raiser was 6-5. Likes to bet a lot more frequently, and their hand in particular, the 6-5, gets in there.
he's-
And
and he's betting pure with his ace 5.
yeah, which we kind of liked that bet there amongst ourselves. A lot of other bets happening, betting half the time basically, half the time with half the range. But
Also
they
very linear with his overpairs.
And now the king, queen of hearts.
Waited too long. Now you don't do it.
But notice they did bet and they wound up taking it down.
Yeah,
My thought is that, and it's a small bet, by the way, which we all
Yeah.
kind of thought would be the case. Let's give him the big bet and see if 6-5 needs to stick around or not. We know this guy's not going to stick around. Here's the raises coming in. The big blind checks twice and then check raises. We've seen this a little bit, and it all happens around that, wrapping around those value hands around the 5s and the 7s.
You're on big blind right now, right?
Yeah, this is big blind.
Okay.
They folded, and now let's see if 6-5. I thought 6-5 should have stuck around, and they do. They should have,
even against
Yeah.
the big bet.
even against the big bet. Yep.
Right.
But they folded.
Notice they have the very few check raises here, except maybe top of range, which chose to check like the 8-7. But like, all his over pairs are just calling to that big size.
Mm-hmm. Want to see anything else?
Yeah, that's good.
Let me write down our list here. Scotty's actually next on my list.
All right.
Stand by.
Welcome back, Scotty.
I like to write it down because the list always shifts. The
It
Zoom
does. That's what
shifts.
I should do that. I should do it on physical thing and not by the order on the screen.
All right, Scotty.
All right.
You.
Fold, fold, ace jack raises, fold, 8-9 suited. Should do a lot of folding with a tiny bit of 3-betting, and have no calling range, but it's okay to have a calling range, and he does clearly, so he calls. If you had a calling range, the 8-9 suited wouldn't be a bad choice in there. Fold, fold, 6-7 should fold, but he'll call. That's what's gonna happen. Yeah, and the
You
worst
know-
play
you know
here is
your
the 6-7
population.
calling. So what?
You know your population.
I do. And the worst play here, the 8-9 call, while it's not optimal, is fine. It may not be the best way to play the hand. It's perfect. It's probably profitable. Just may not be the most profitable, but the 6-7 is a mistake, I think. All right. Bad play is not rewarded this time. 6-7 should check range on this board. 7-9 10. I think nobody should have big bets on this board. And is the big blind going to donk anything? He's not going to donk this, but does he have? Is he checking range? Give me 1 second here. I am not confident that the big blind is checking range. I just don't know. But 6-7 is checking.
I
That's
think I think it needs to be a little bit lower. I could be wrong. I don't.
Yeah,
maybe
I'm
Prometheus, but I
unsure.
think it needs to be a little bit lower.
Yeah. So I don't know the answer to that, but he should check range. He should check. Ace jack, the initial raiser, should check this board. And the 8-9 can do whatever he wants. Check is good, bet is good, and if I were him, I would choose to bet it, and I would bet 3 big blinds. Let's see what happens. Check, check, check. All right. I'm okay with the 8-9 not betting it 100% of the time. Now the 6-7 still needs to check. The ace jack needs to check. It hasn't changed anything. And the 8-9 absolutely now has to bet. And I think his bet size should be, I think he should bet 6, but I don't mind 3. I don't think he should overbet. Sure, takes a number in between the two, great. The 6-7, I don't think is an insta fold. Should he fold? He's not last to act. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think he needs to lose. I think he needs to lose 4.5 big blinds in solver land. But he chooses not to. Or at least I think sometimes he calls this. I don't think this is a pure fold from him in the solver. And the ace jack, this is dumb. This is a dumb call. He's beat. Ace jack should not try to turn this into a bluff. It's not believable that he has a 10. And if he wants to check call against solver ranges because he has ace high here on a double paired board and the flush draw didn't come in, the straight didn't come in, okay, but based on size. So he checks. And if he doesn't, if he bets out the 8-9 should just call. He should never raise and he should never fold. All right. So what does the ace jack do? Does he turn it into a bluff?
He
Let's see.
checked. He checked.
Oh, we checked? Okay, then 8-9 should bet for value. And he didn't. And 8-9 should bet for value, should bet, you know. Wait a minute. Should 8-9 bet for value? Yes, 8-9 should bet to try to get called by an ace. And he should bet around half pot. Okay, that's what I think. Let's see what the solver does.
Yeah, this one's interesting.
Yeah.
So this was low jack. Again, we'll go button and big blind.
Yeah.
Reset. Let's see how there's a reset button there.
Yeah.
Low jack, button, big blind. And it was 10 of clubs, 9 of spades, 7 of diamonds, 10 of clubs, 9 of spades, 7 of diamonds. Let's see here. Some donking.
Okay,
Big blind gets some donking. Not an insignificant amount, but
Right.
again,
9%.
We-
So I'm glad that I didn't know. 9% is around the amount that I should not know. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. 7-6 suited is in the Prometheus, but that's due to a small min raise from the low jack
Mhm.
call, but there's certainly to a 3x 6-7 offsuit would not be there. They check.
Mhm.
Here is your original raiser.
Ace jack, what does he need to date to do it? Does he need a particular suit? Or is he just doing some ace jack? He's doing some ace jack and he likes having some diamonds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't need to know why diamonds and spades are better than clubs. There's a reason. I guess the reason is because if you have ace 9, because you can have the ace 9 suited of clubs or something. I don't care why. Okay, so a little bit of betting, not a lot.
Yeah, when you have ace jack, I suppose you're blocking ace 10, jack 10. Right? I don't,
Oh, I didn't see this. I read it wrong. Ace jack has a gut shot. I didn't see his gut shot. I thought he was one away from it. I thought he was backdoor. Yeah, so him calling the 4.5 is okay with a gut shot
okay.
and 2 overs. Yeah, that's okay. So
So
I'm
maybe-
changing my mind about his call on the turn. Okay, so he checks it. We get to our big blind.
No, this is
We get
this
to
is
our button, and our button has big bets,
yeah. Primarily big bets.
and that surprises me. The 8-9 almost never checks. It's allowed to check, but almost never does. And let's see, does the suit matter for that? Never. Yes. Only if you have it and the back door, you do not check. So it's only the 8-9 of hearts, and his was what was his suit?
Hearts.
Okay, great. So he found the sliver of check. You don't need to find that sliver. You can just bet every 8-9 here.
Now, why do we think this is primarily big bets here? I guess it's because this flop just absolutely hammers a big or a button calling range to an early position raise, right?
And the reason I thought it didn't was because there's locked up equity. But let's see, the locked up equity is 6-8, which the low jack doesn't have, 6-8 suited, which the big blind does have, and jack 8, which the low jack doesn't have suited ever. Is that right in this range?
The low jack?
Yeah, does the low jack in their sizing ever have the jack 8 suited?
Let's see, what's an easy way to check that without
Just go
having?
back one range, just go back one line, just click on his check. Click in the upper, just under my account, click there on the low jack's check, which is one there. Just click on that node again.
Oh, okay.
And then we look to see, does he have jack eight suited? He does
No.
not. So
Almost.
there's locked up equity, but the open raiser never has it. So that allows you to do that. I thought the fact that the big blind is all over this locked up equity meant that you couldn't have big bets, but I'm wrong. And the rainbow nature of it may allow the big bets also.
Yeah, so I'm thinking we're seeing a pretty good best hands advantage on the button
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Because we have some 6-8, not a
Two
lot.
pairs.
We have no jack eight, but we're all over. We're all over the sets and the two pairs of this board. And the straight draws and the pair plus draws. We have all that.
What did they do? They checked, right?
They checked.
And the 9 of
9 pairs.
Another long wait.
Hmm.
So here was the pre-flop ranges. Here's your low jack. So here's the difference
How do
between.
you find your pre-flop ranges in this? Is this a different window or do you?
No, this is under this pre-flop
Oh,
tab.
you're just playing with it there. Okay.
Yeah, and then you go to the range packs that they provide.
Right.
And it'll give you all these different ranges, everything
Okay.
from heads up all the way down to 6 max, 50 zoom rake, 100 big blind stacks, 125 stacks, right? And they use for their solver the 500 zoom mixed RFI.
Right.
Question for you, does it allow you to create your own pre-flop
Yes.
solves?
Yes, you get 2 a month, and if you want to set one, if you want us to set one up, either log in as me and do the setup, we'll do it together, or send me the specs you want on it, and I'll run it.
Well, those are pre-flop solves.
Yeah, pre-flop solves.
Interesting. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so we can do custom pre-flop solves.
And can you make the rake any higher? Like, can you remove the cap, for instance?
Yeah, I think
Probably.
you can
They
in
probably allow that.
a custom solve, you can set the rake how you want it.
LFC, yeah, if you want to look at this, open up the pre-flop beta to a custom solve and just show what the specs
Yeah,
look
let's see what it
like.
looks like. I was curious.
What the interface looks like. And then if you want to send me specs, I'll run it for you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so it looks like, so
Number of players, stack size, anti-size.
So if I want to run,
oh, the rake, click on rake and see if it gives us options, or if it just says the rake on off. Oh, there you go.
Oh,
It's
that's
no
great.
rake, or you could set the rake to whatever you want.
So we do the cap at 0, that means that it's gonna be no cap, yes?
Yeah, and then we choose the bet sizes that you want, and we'll do it.
That's amazing.
Yep, so yeah, send me the specs you want me to try, and I will do it.
so can I send you some specs? Because
Yes,
I'm trying to figure this out.
absolutely.
Okay.
You're gonna send me specs where the open size is 17 big blinds? It wouldn't be, I mean, if it wouldn't be bad to do it, to see what should your opening range be if you're going to open to 17 big blinds, or whatever your size actually is.
Yeah, it would be, well, you'd be most interested to see what your reaction is.
Yeah,
Behind.
that's great. Yeah, send that to me, Derek, and we have 2 range packs we paid for this month. So, I'm not range packs, 2 custom solves. So each of you send me one, and we'll have it for you next week.
Okay,
All right, that was 41 seconds.
So I go RFI 8.5 big blinds.
Yeah. Exactly.
I want to see what the solver thinks, because
Yep.
I know I'm making a huge mistake, but I'm just playing maximum exploit.
But you really do want to see, and you're not the only one who raises to that size at your table, right?
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, so you really want to see how tight your range should be, especially in the big blind defending
Yeah.
against that. Because it's gonna be so far, in my opinion, it's gonna be so far away from.
My guess is it'll be queens, ace,
What we got.
king.
Yeah, it's gonna be, you don't care that you've got a blind in there. Your blind is so insignificant at that size, I think.
So there won't be much calls, I think.
Yeah, you won't, I think you will have almost no calls
Yeah.
because why bother?
But instead, I get like 5 callers.
Yeah. Exactly.
In real life.
So you'll just show like the SPR will be like almost one, I think.
Okay, back to the hand here. We got the 7-6 offsuit in the big blind here. They checked, and they should check most of their range again. We see
Yep.
that.
The 7-6 being one of the few hands that they do bet, but they mostly still check it.
Mhm. This is the ace jack original razor.
Go back one step to theirs, and see if the only 7-6 that they can bet there is of clubs.
It looks like a super tiny.
No, the suited version.
Oh, they had offsuit, but
Yeah, they shouldn't be there. Well, funny thing. Yeah, so you have to have clubs to do this. And in the offsuit version, that's okay, great. Back to what you said.
so here's the original razor with the ace jack when it checked around.
Now he bets.
And probably remember the button was betting something like
All the time, yeah.
80% or something like that.
Yeah.
But they wound up checking here.
Well, I was wrong about the ace jack here, but the reason I was wrong was I didn't recognize he had a gut shot. I thought it was just 2 overs. So with the gut shot, that makes sense to me that he can bet.
And now we get to here where, he
Now
doesn't
you have to bet your 8-9. Yeah, it's 100% bet. And the bet size is
30 B33 with hearts, B75 mixing a little bit more B75 with diamonds. So
and this might be a function of how often you have each of those, maybe. But anyway, so he does bet, and he goes halfway between the two. Not a surprise. We'll see both of them.
and look at this again. Here we go in that big blind who's checked twice. Look at that's just
You're locked on only seeing the raises, so you got to
Yeah.
sort of roll over. You got to roll over the raise there to open it up. There you go. Yeah, so he never folds his 7-6 here
Nope.
to the small size. And that makes sense to me. He has a pair and a gut shot.
Yep.
Now,
Yep.
what about to the big size?
Let's go B75 from him.
Yeah.
And now the 7-6 mixes
Okay.
and mostly folds the suited variety, not clubs.
Yep. And his exact combo here is it one of the, what's his exact combo? Not that we expect him to have gotten this deep, but just to
Spade, diamond.
spade diamond. And that is, where's spade diamond hiding? Spade diamond right there, upper middle. Yeah, it does a lot of the folding.
And that was to the big size. They fold.
So halfway in between the two. So his fold is not terrible. And now the ace
back
jack
to the jack.
needs to fold.
Yeah.
His gut shot is no longer valid. And his ace jack with the clubs, obviously, I think never folds.
No, everything folds except for this one
No, his
combo.
ace jack of clubs, his suited variety. Yeah, he just never folds the ace jack of clubs there. And he sticks around sometimes with ace jack of diamonds. For
Okay.
unknown reasons. So now we get a call.
And he got the
When the 10 pairs, Can the 8-9 continue to bet?
What was it? The 10 of
Diamonds.
diamonds? Okay,
Can he bet his 9?
so he
Yeah.
checked.
Yeah, he can bet it. He can bet a 9.
Well, here's his 9.
Yeah, he has 9-8. And he can bet it.
Mm-hmm.
And his size is
B75 with
75.
Not that he can, I think he should.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like the bet.
mm-hmm. If he bets it, I'm going to take it off a weighted strategy.
Yeah. You want to see what they go all in with?
I want to see if you just are always calling with your 9s. No, you're mixing.
Yeah.
A lot of folding, actually.
Yeah. Isn't that nice?
And probably population that's very correct.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
It's hard to bet a 9 there when you think you're trying to get called by the 10 when you make your big bet on the turn. But then again, it's a big difference. If you get called by the big blind, he could have more 10s. He didn't have to bet all his 10s, but the button bet out a lot of his 10s out already on the flop.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't let a lot of 10s go. Okay, that's it.
Have you guys heard of the beluga?
Oh yeah, no,
jam?
one thing.
Yeah.
What was the size on the turn that we ended up going to the river with?
Half
Big
B50.
No, what I mean, in the solve.
Oh, in the solve
We did the
with
B75. Take the B30, take the small size. And see if we ever have to call with an ace here. So we go, instead of going B75 before then on so we're going back to, see that red B75 to the left? Before the
Yeah.
10 comes, that one. Make that 33. Wrong place. We had to go back, go back one more. That made it the button who did it. Go back. There, now, B33.
Well, in game, the button did bet the 9. He has
He
8,
bet
9.
the 9, but he bet it 50%.
Right.
And so we have a 33 and a 75. So we looked at what we did when he did 75. So let's have him do 33 instead of 75 and see if
Right.
the ace
So we
ever
need
has to
we
call
need
him
low
with it.
jack to check and the button to bet. B33, right?
No, it wasn't the button. It was
Yes.
the low jack has the 8-9.
No.
Oh, it's the button?
Yes.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's what I want. I want the button to bet.
Okay. B33, right?
Button has 8-9.
And you want to see now the low jacks.
The low
Ace-
jack calls. We know that he did. And then on the river, after the small bet, whether the button still bets his 9. And if the low jack has to call any wider against his size. So now the button has, so the low jack checks.
Even if the low jack donks any of his 10s, he does not.
He checks. And the button bets all his 9s because he's also betting bluffs.
Mm-hmm.
He's betting 5-4. Good for him. I like this guy. So he bets his size, and now his size is exclusively
There's some
75.
Yeah, not entirely exclusively. There's a little bit of B33.
Yeah. It's 4%. It's exclusively from my level. And now you do not call with you fold all your ace jack nonsense, right? Oh, nope, you do have to do some call. So they do some calling. To this smaller size, you have to defend ace high. That's a
Do I
pure
see an
10, right?
all-in with A7?
Say that again.
I'm seeing an all-in with ace-7, I think.
Yes,
That's
you
a bluff.
Go,
Yep.
go, go.
blocking a
That is
boat.
a counterfeited bluff.
Yeah, blocking a boat.
What boat does it block? Pocket sevens?
Pocket
Yeah.
seven.
Yeah,
Let's knock them off a chop.
knocks him off a chop.
King, queen.
Yeah. So you have to defend really, so he's forced to defend really wide, and that's why betting the 9 is so good. Okay. That's what I wanted to see.
Derek,
Okay,
take it away.
okay. 10-8. It's probably too wide.
Keep going.
Does he call?
Well, keep going. So 10-8
Okay.
should fold.
King Jack opening this all day.
Yep.
Ace-8 fold, 4-9 fold, 7-3 fold, 5-6. Oh, okay, I was wrong.
Yeah.
So was he.
See,
So was
Ace-8
he,
does
yeah.
call here. Okay, so if we have if we have a caller, do we call with 4-9? Never, but he might. No, I was wrong. 5-6. Do we want to squeeze?
If it were you, what would you do right here? It's you with a 5-6 facing this. What do you want to do?
Oh, if it was me, I'd be playing with a bunch of idiots at 1-3 or something like that.
Right.
So
But what would you
I
want to do
think
to those
that I
idiots?
can
To
outplay
your
these
population, what do
guys.
you want to do?
I think this is a fold here, or it's a raise.
Mhm.
I don't know.
I'd
I'm
be
gonna
happy to call it against, I would be
You want to
happy to call this
simplify?
against
You
the
could
idiots you play
call it
against.
here.
Against
just
your
use your position.
population, I'd be happy to call this
Yeah. Ace
because I'm
10
just not getting
folds.
squeezed behind enough.
Oh, he calls. Okay, so
I
I'm
think
wrong.
ace 10 is a good fold there, though, Derek.
I'm wrong about these aces here.
No, I think your ace 10 is a good fold.
Yeah, but where are they getting these players from?
Yeah, I want to play on that table.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Ignition,
So
they're all over the place.
ace 10 thinks, oh, I flopped the monster. So obviously he misses. King Jack misses. He just has a backdoor. So you can check, play a small pot. Ace 8. Everyone checked, so we might take a stab at it, but you should probably just check. Yeah, he took a stab at it. And everyone else folds.
Yeah. Do we want to look at this for any reason?
I think it's
I think this is
nonsense.
pretty bad play.
Yeah, we know the ace 8 is a terrible play. 5-6 we talked about. We could probably make some calls there. It's probably a good fold as well. And then ace 10, what do you think about ace 10 off to an early position 2.5x? I think it's a good fold.
I'd fold.
I don't like defending this.
If,
You
if,
can be in
if
a
ace
tough
10 was
spot quite
suited, I
often.
call all day.
Yeah. Here's what our wizard would have to say about this. Let's see. I think he was
Yep,
somewhere
it's under the gun, low jack -1 is what I
minus
saw.
one.
Yeah,
Okay.
not under the gun one. Low jack -1 is what I saw him as.
We're gonna put the call in the button because that's the only place we can do it. Let's see. Ace 10 off. Yeah, pure fold. Even ace jack off.
Yeah, good.
Ace jack off is a 100% fold.
Yeah.
And then
Larry. Oh, did we?
He wrote.
Larry's
to chat that
gone.
it's not
Larry
enough.
stepped out for a second.
Yeah, he stepped up.
Okay. Aleph, you want to take one here?
Sure, I guess.
Okay.
Okay, so King 7 folds, Ace Queen opens. 3-2 fold, 3-8 fold, queen 10 fold. Oh my god. Okay, 5-5 can call too in that case. And probably it will defend, but I wouldn't with king jack.
Yeah, I'm with you. That should be a fold, and good fold by that guy. Good job. All right, so we know queen 10 is terrible. 5's reasonable, especially with the
Yeah,
deeper
if you're
stack.
not gonna get squeezed from small or big, you know that they're passive players. You can call with any bottom pair, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, we get to see a flop 3 ways.
I hate this. Yeah, because it's 3-way, probably check is more high frequency, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think this will be a pure
Yeah.
there.
They can lead. I mean, if he's not gonna lead this board, why did he call?
He checks.
Okay,
Which-
great guy. Maybe he will check raise, who knows?
So would you do
Okay,
anything
so
different? You would probably, if somehow we're here with queen 10 off, would you you would bet
I
here?
would bet probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I agree. Bet that thing. If you're calling 10 queen, you better bet it when you hit.
But it's like rainbow, so I might be a little bit more comfy, I think. Still a check. Oh my god.
Gonna walk right into it.
I would just call, I think.
They do. And 5 should now get the hell out of there.
Yeah. I give up. So he will bet probably 75% or something, or
Yeah,
overbet.
What do you think would be a good bet here? What would be the
Well, depends on the who villain like 1355 is. Like if he thinks that I'm bluffing a lot, I would try to make it look like a bluff by overbetting, or I can stab a bit for value betting. I'm not sure. Depends.
Yeah, okay.
What
Check back.
size, when you say you wanted to look like a bet, what size do you think that your opponents mostly see as a bluff? Do they see the overbet as the bluff?
Yeah,
See
they do
pot
a lot.
size? Do they see half pot?
Yeah, I'm trying to balance my overbets during live games by like
Okay.
putting half bluffs and the nuts, you know. So they can't do this to me, but usually even the regulars only overbet when they're bluffing. So
Oh, interesting.
weird
Okay.
in Cyprus, yeah.
So the size that I think I've been seeing online for the bluff is the 75% the 66 to 75% seems to be the overbluffed size, and the overbet seems to be underbluffed. But you know your population better.
Yeah, I played a lot of $5-10, and
Yeah.
they do overbet a lot when they're bluffing, especially like nitty regulars.
Fabulous. And that's probably what the other people expect. So that's probably a great thing to do with your value hands.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they go half pot.
Mhm.
Should ace queen ever defend ace high here?
He made a big bet on the turn.
He did. Yeah.
Does that fold out king jack? I don't think so.
No, I think I would fold here.
Yeah.
They wind up calling, seeing the bad news. This one we can't look at because there's nobody in the blinds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have their queen also, so like we can put them on a draw also. It's hard.
Yeah.
I was thinking the queen might not be that bad to have because it blocks straight. It blocks queen 10, queen 9.
Queen 10 is not there actually. He just called.
Does he have the queen of clubs? I can't tell because it's behind the world. Does he have the queen of clubs?
Yes.
Okay. So it's not as bad as having the queen of spades. Okay.
Okay. All right, Olaf. Dean, you're up.
King ace. Church open.
Hello?
Eights. If it's multi-way, eights is gonna call and king queen's gonna call.
What do you think? What would you do here, Dean, if you had eights to an early position raise and you're under the gun +1?
I call. King queen will call.
Wow. What kind of game is that, really?
This is the $1 game on Ignition, right? So this is 100 NL on Ignition. And they make a lot of mistakes.
Okay.
We have seen this player pool in detail. We've seen 1,000 hands all face up from this player pool, and we've seen a lot of mistakes.
Is there a way to
definitely-
find these players and play with them?
Oh,
You have a list of
unfortunately,
their
it's
names and
anonymous. You don't get to pick your seat table or anything. These pocket eights here, I'm going to argue against always calling.
I would fold most of the time. It's super
Oh, I
early
agree.
position.
Yeah. Yeah, I would actually fold this most of the time. I might consider 3-betting if I thought this person, with the stats this person has, this would be somebody I would consider 3-betting it if I play it at all.
Oh yeah, stats with BP.
Yeah.
41, yeah, I would 3-bet more. But if it's just like a normal guy,
what's his pre-flop raise on that 41? 29? Okay, yeah, 29's enough.
if he doesn't bet, then he'll probably check through.
What would you do,
I'd
Dean?
probably-
Because you would be here with Ace King.
I'll probably check just because I have the suit that blocks stuff. Yeah, check. It's not doing shit. King queen should check, but who knows about this guy?
They go small bet.
Just call. He could raise, but
8-8 is hating life right now.
it just out. I saw ace king was out on the flop. Oof, check. The king queen probably should check back, but they might. I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
Bluff.
Wow.
They have all the draws and everything. Now ace king. Bet like 10 to 15.
They go B50.
Mm. Gotta, we gotta fold that though.
They go for the hero call. I want to also make an argument for the flop, the c-betting the flop here with Ace King, just because it's almost kind of, it's so good for you as an early position raiser. Like I would it'd be close to a range bet almost. Multi-way,
Yeah,
not so
but we have
much.
the ace king and the king of clubs. So what do they have?
Yeah, exactly. Why I would say not check. Like if we had like ace king diamond heart for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I would
mean, heart,
first
club,
first
or
times.
spade.
I would be, I wouldn't be betting big. I just feel like it's just so good for your, like if even if you have, let's say, I think queens, jacks, tens, check, but if you raised queen jack suited or even a king, like king X, like if I had king queen here, I would see bet.
But you cannot see bet every time you hit. You have to balance it sometimes, and this is a good flop to balance it. I think you feel
Mm.
pretty safe, even it's a multi-way.
And we
Yeah.
don't need very much protection either from anything.
But when we check this, I think we're not checking it to check call. I think we're checking it to check raise. And my reasoning is that so many turns are going to go check, check. even if the club doesn't come in. If he has an ace, let's give him ace queen. He may want to pot control on a lot of turns. And we don't want that. So I think that this is I think we bet sometimes and we check raise sometimes. And the thing we do the least is check call.
Check it.
And I
Yeah,
believe
I
that that's
agree.
going to be true even in
Yes.
solver land too. So let's
I
find out.
agree.
I think solver bets this big.
Oh, we can't find out. We can't
We
solve.
can't.
This wouldn't work in the multi-way
Yeah,
solver.
we can't solve this. So
We-
I'm just going to claim
Well,
that.
actually, there was one
Been-
application, Poker Snowy. It was using AI to solving multiways. Like you can call with anything, anywhere.
Oh, do
But
you
it
have?
is telling you what it does things, so it's not like 100% accurate.
Okay.
If you remove one of those calls, I bet you solver's betting big.
Oh yeah, that's with the call for sure. With only one caller.
Yeah, solver's betting big.
But then
yeah.
it changes everything when it's
Mhm.
like heads up pot.
Yeah. But just for fun.
Ace three of clubs, king of diamonds.
We just bet range.
Comes a bet range.
88%. What is it? 88% or something?
Oh, there's a 2% check. There is a 2% check. You don't break the solver if you hit the check button. And then our friend mistakenly bets us king queen.
He
For a
doesn't even
small
have
size,
king queen
yeah.
off.
I like how king off is not even there.
What size do you want to give him?
He went small. And now when you have ace, oh, so that's interesting. The rare times you do this, you keep up the charade with ace king. No, you mostly bet it, but the king of clubs is allowed to keep up the charade. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when we get here, without having that other caller in between us, this will change this, but I still think there's going to be, like I said, I would probably consider it a range bet, but like, I would still be betting primarily with this hand.
But isn't it
Mhm.
better if it's like 85% bet and 15% check, for example, in multi-way? Isn't it good that to use that 15% here?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, tough to say, right? Without,
Yeah.
that was Dean. Did we get through that whole hand? Yeah, because we couldn't see it in the solver.
Yep.
Skate, you're up.
All right, let's do it.
It folds around.
Fold around, fold nines to just kidding, open nines. Open nines. It's gonna fold around to the small blind, queen deuce. I think nine should take it down. I mean a big blind, excuse me. Okay, so queen deuce is the big blind, excuse me. Ace five, big mistake. Okay. If it was suited ace five, they could probably get on board with the ice with the three bet ace five suited, of course, as I mentioned yesterday. All the suited Broadway except jack 10, queen 10, king jack, king 9, ace 10 suited, stuff like that. Okay, so queen deuce here, multi-way. Probably fold to the 3x size. They could probably call it 2x, but folding to 3x because of reverse implied odds.
I think you nailed it, Skate. I think you're absolutely right. Ace five is obviously a fold. If it was ace five suited, you should three bet, and queen deuce suited to a 3x should be a fold, and probably pretty close if it was 2x, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna guess that.
I think you nailed it. But we know the kind of players we've been seeing. So here we go.
Yeah. It's nice to see from their point of view.
All right. I imagine it's going to check around to the pre-flop raiser. And on a paired board, yeah, they could definitely, well, yeah, let's think about it. We're in position against two players. I imagine the solver is going to want to do a little bit more checking in this case, but I'm going to probably just stand receive that. Why not?
Yeah, I'm with you again. I think they could probably go either way here.
Yep.
And they do.
Check, nice. Okay. So yeah, so that I imagine again it's gonna yeah, here I don't see many. Of course there's some draws here, but I imagine it's gonna check around to the pre-flop appraiser again. I'm gonna assume.
You're here with a queen. Do you start betting now, or do you still continue to trap?
I guess you want to get some value, right? With the queen, if I were here, yes, I'm gonna probably start donking on small. Oh, there it is.
They do. What do you think about nines?
Nines, yeah, I'm gonna fold. Nah. Thing is that we're getting such a good price, though. We're getting such a good price. I think we have to put in the side call. We don't like it because we could be behind to them and behind to a villain 1-3-5-9 if they do wake up with a hand.
Yeah, I think you're on it today, Skate. I agree. I think this would be close in a solver world, but probably exploitatively you just fold it. But I think you're right. I think it's kind of close if it was a solver situation.
Yep. All right, let's hope for that 9. Nope, we don't get it. So yeah, so just queen deuce here should be going up straight up for value. They should be going for really thin value because of that runner 10. Very unlikely that 9s the other villain has any of those 10s. So we're gonna go really, really, really small. Should go small. Let's go.
I think
Let's
it's a little
go.
more than half. Let's see.
Let's try to get calls from like ace high, from like low pocket pairs. So let's go. I don't know, like 7, 8,
One
9 around
correction,
there.
Skate. Your thought about ace high is total sense, but you can't get called by a small pocket pair. They're all counterfeited. The only pocket pair you can get called by that is jacks.
Yeah, you're right. I see.
Or the big pocket pairs, aces and kings, which, you know,
But they wouldn't have played this way, I think.
Yeah, they didn't, you know, they
Yeah.
probably didn't. But having said that, just that idea of it's only, you're trying to get called by ace high and 10s here. And 10s will call a big bet and ace high will call a very small bet. Take your
Yeah.
shot.
Yeah, I like that better. I like that wording. Let's get called from ace high. So let's bet super, super thin. I imagine they're gonna either probably go thin or maybe just go overboard.
Yeah. What about if you go if you go small, like if you go with a block bet here, you get raised by a 10 and possibly called by ace high, right?
Yeah, as played, yeah.
That seems like a pretty good strategy. That way you're going to get money either way, and you're going to get a lot of it when they have a 10, maybe, or assuming they raise a 10.
Well, I take it. I don't think that they should raise a 10 because the queens were likely, the whole way through. So yeah, I don't think I think they're gonna flat 10s and they're gonna raise quads.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
if you want to get money from a 10, more money from a 10, you check because a 10 shouldn't raise you, but a 10 should bet a check. But he's also going to bet small for the same reason. He wants to get called by ace high.
Yeah, I'm on
You're
board
never
with
getting a
that.
check. You're never getting a beefy check raise in. So
Yeah, but again, as I said, 10's very unlikely. But yeah, they fold good.
Larry says magnitude trumps frequency, but Larry didn't see the beginning of the hand, I think, where that knocked so many 10s out of his range.
I think I'm guilty as charged.
Yeah.
Diamond, club, spade. All right, some donking from the small blind. Again, we see those pairs, all those pairs in between queens and fours, and some queens, and some bluffs. Pure checking in the big blind.
That usual
And
thing we see that when the small blind donks, the big blind checks.
and a lot of c betting. Early position, a lot of c betting small. Nines in particular, pretty much across your whole range, you just c bet.
Would you do the thing where you show the checks also, just so it doesn't look like a c betting range?
Oh
Just,
yeah.
just kind of roll. What you do is you just roll over the bet and you get it back. Yeah. Okay.
Checking back your ace highs, betting everything else pretty much.
Yeah. Checking back almost no queens. You do
What
not
did they
count
do?
on somebody else putting in the money with queens.
They checked, right? They checked.
No, they bet.
Oh, they did? They bet their nines?
Oh, no, they checked.
Checked.
Well,
Okay.
turn.
So skate, I think you were good there. You said check or bet. So we got the 10 of hearts. We'll get to see if your queen X in the big blind gets to come alive. I don't know if they're going to have, they might have queen deuce suited because in Prometheus it would be a 2x open. So maybe they do defend queen deuce suited.
Why is it a 2x open in Prometheus?
Just their
Uh,
choice. Just
yeah,
they showed, they could have done the whole thing a different way. They started with a tool called Munker Solver, and Munker Solver used that as its GTO thing. They could have run the whole thing saying nobody uses 2x open, so let's start at 2.5 or 3, and they just didn't. And now they have this giant database.
Pardon me? Like they're
even in a wizard with 100 big or NL50 rate, you do defend queen deuce suited to a 2x from the hijack and a call from the small blind.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Well played by him.
Yeah.
Except it was 3x, right?
Except that this in the hand
Hmm.
itself, it was a 3x open.
Right. And in 3x, as long as we're still compiling the results in the wizard, does the queen deuce fold to a 3x? I assume it would.
I think it folds to a 2x, and because I don't have a 3x in a normal rake
Oh.
environment. But let's try 2.5 first.
Yeah.
So we just saw 2 and the queen
Yeah,
X calls.
it's gone.
Okay.
So the difference between 2 and 2.5 is huge,
Wow.
right?
Way huge.
Because that was also the wizard, right? That you were looking at.
Correct. The wizard
So
here.
the difference between 2 and 2.5 is dramatic.
Here's the difference.
That's
I'll go back
wild.
and forth between the two.
Right. And this is the same rake structure, right?
NL50
Not so
and
big.
Yep. NL50. And sizing is 2. Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Nice. I didn't think it would fold the king suited side like king deuce, but yeah, it's folding up to like king 5, king 6. Nice.
Huge. Yeah.
Okay, so we got it went check through on the flop. Small blind now gets to come alive because they probably have a lot of queen X, some decent queen X in their range. What was their hand in particular? They had some offsuit ace crap. They checked it. Big blind, who also would have a lot of decent queen X probably. They still, again, checking a lot, right? I mean, this is very, very common. I don't think we've ever really seen much of a deviation. This is probably the first one we've seen, really, where you start getting a lot of bets.
Hmm.
Or not a lot, but relative, right?
Yeah.
And their hand, their queen deuce suited hand. is mixing still. And they checked it, right? Did they check it?
On turn, they bet small.
They did. You're right. Yep, they went small.
Okay, so he has tens in his range. He has lots of tens in his range. Larry's right. Magnitude trumps frequency. Villain 1943 is absolutely could have a 10 with the way it's played. I thought he bet the flop and checked the turn.
We go small, and then back to the original razor with pocket nines, calling to that small bet, pure, which we kind of figured in the solver that would be true.
Yep.
But maybe against population, exploitative start folding it a little bit more. Yay, nay?
What?
I see, I see, not to one single bet, not to one single small bet. We see stabs with ace jack here. We see stabs with, ace four here in our world.
And then the small blind with his ace five he folded, but let's see if he was here with any of the hands he should be here with. Starts check raising. And it was the 10 of clubs. So now we get to boat up somewhere. Okay, our queen X. Let's see, what sizings do we like? I'm going to go weighted strategy so we can see a little more clear. Everything is leaning towards big on the value side. All these are B150s, right? Are those B150s? Yeah.
Yeah. So you're targeting a 10.
Oops.
Screw the
Sorry.
ace.
I went back.
And Larry was right.
Yep. And
Okay.
if you block a 10, then you can start to think more about getting value from
Right.
ace X.
Right. And when you have a 10.
Yeah, like that's what I mean. Like if you have queen 10.
Right. Well, I'm saying if you have just a 10.
Oh, just a 10, yeah.
Just a 10, you can bet small. If you block the 10 with queen 10 and you have everything, now you know he doesn't have it, so you bet small to try to go for the ace because he has no 10s. When you have pocket 10s, you desperately want to get raised.
Yep.
Because you expect to get raised by a queen. Make it easy.
And maybe queen jack here, kind of the unusual queen and king queen checking to balance out some of that queen X. And then you're also, when you have a king or a jack, you're blocking king 10, jack 10.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, they have less 10x to be able to bet.
Right. So give them a chance to bluff it.
Okay. What did they do? They went like half pot.
Yeah.
Which we don't have an option for. Let's see if we can ever get called by ace X. Yeah, I guess we do.
Mm-hmm.
We get called by ace X.
Okay. How about on the bigger size? Not because that was the 40.
Okay, let's go to B75.
Yeah.
Yeah.
B75 still has some aces calling.
And look at the 10x, just calls.
Yeah.
10x never raises the big bet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Yep. Nice hand. Thank you.
Well played, Skate. Next on the list is A plus. A plus. You want to take one?
Sure.
All right, man. Here is yours.
So fold fives. That is interesting from under the gun +1. I don't play a lot of cash, but I would open the fives, but you could fold that. I'd
Yep.
open fold, raise, fold.
Okay.
So the king's
Oh my God.
Well, they're inducing with the kings.
Yeah,
Oh,
they do have
Ooh.
back.
oh, I only got 37 bigs though. Okay. All right, cool. Fold. um, so fold call, that is you're playing super tight. Are there any pairs we're folding here from a fold and a call?
No, I don't think so. I think we're gonna set mine here.
You set
Yeah.
mine? Yeah, yeah.
I
So
think-
let's call here. You're folding all your weak aces. Yeah, and you got 9-9 check. Pair board, the fives. It's that second pair. Now you could bet this small, because of those pair of nines. The big blind has a lot of nines. The button with that call has a lot of nines, so you can bet that small. See what the big blind does. I mean, the button should raise here if you're inducing. You got what you wanted, so he should raise here. 3 should fold. 5 should fold.
Yeah, this is a good. I like this over here. I think you're right. I think the fives get to bet like at a decent clip as the original raiser. 5 of hearts. I think that helps you get to bet a little bit more.
Yeah.
Percent.
Their sizing, I think, was bad. I think you're right. A plus, it should be for a small bet, like maybe B33, B20.
So I think that the king's calling is a huge blunder.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
Nope.
I mean, like with only 37 big blinds, that's horrible.
Yeah. With only 37 big blinds, though, he can make a smaller 3-bet than usual. But he has to 3-bet.
Yeah. So with 40 big blinds, you could make it like 8 here.
Recording in progress.
I do want to look at solver from the big blind. See what solver says. Solver might fold those threes. I don't know. Is it solver's very tight on the raise call as far as broadways.
I'll take it to, let's go up to a 3x solver just so we can see. It was low jack, and then we'll put the flatter in the cutoff, which we can do here. Of course, they're never going to have 10s. And then the big blind with 3s. I'm pretty sure all the pairs are just going to, oh, look, no, you do get some folds here to the 3.
It's folds. Yeah, they're super tight in cash when the big blind wants a raise call is super tight.
Yeah.
So yeah, the threes is
That's a good call, A plus. I think probably you could argue that versus the typical player, you can probably open these up to call with, but yeah, versus if you're playing just solid players, then you should start thinking about folding, right?
Yeah.
C-betting the flop with 5s. I'd like to see what they say about this.
It's a pure bluff. It's only because the board is paired and you have the heart. So maybe.
Yeah, it's almost kind of like not necessarily a bluff because you could still have the best hand. It was 9, what was it? Oops, sorry, go this way. It was 994. 9 of hearts, 4 of hearts, 9 of, I think it was clubs, spades, clubs. Big blind checking range. All right, let's see. 5s, not very much, but a little bit. And let's see if the hearts are the difference maker. Not really.
Yeah, that's a check. Yeah. Okay.
Be betting 25% of the time and checking the rest. So not as much c-betting as I thought there might be. And then, of course, the rest of it just plays out as it did. All right. A plus. That takes us to the top of the list. No, Richie's in here. Hey, Richie, you ready?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Right. You get this one.
Cool. So really it should fold round to a7, but I wouldn't be surprised if queen nine opens. No, they don't. Okay. And then it should fold round to sixes, but obviously 7-8 is going to limp in. And then six is obviously going to limp in as well.
Yeah, and I think we saw was sixes getting up to where we need to start calling. Do you remember that, A plus? Did we see that?
Calling or we're,
Yeah, pre-flop. This is kind of a similar situation. So here
no,
it is.
this is, oh, right, but this is when you're doubly out of position. This is the small blind call. So you should call all your pocket pairs here.
Oh, okay, yeah, good point. Yeah, it's a small.
Yeah,
Wow.
this should be, I think this is gonna be 100% pocket pairs. Come on, 100%. Well, close enough.
Yeah, pretty much. Just an odd threes.
100 Scotty percent.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Okay. So it should check around to the pre-flop raiser, which could continue because they have position, go for a small sizing because it's multi-way and they obviously have the overpairs, but not surprised if they check
Well,
it back.
that's
Yeah.
a very good candidate for me to just give up multi-way.
Yeah, but you think about range as well. You still consider range and multi-way, and you can have a jack here, you can have the overpairs, etc. But yeah, I don't blame anyone checking here. While they, yeah, realistically, small blind shouldn't be here, but they should check again. Sixes, they could consider betting now. I think it's still best to check, but they could consider betting because it's another low card and there was no action on the previous street. So if they are going to bet, I would say no more than 3 big blinds. Nice. Oh, it's the hero as well. Is this you again, Scotty, or is this someone else?
This is Mike.
Some other fish.
Nice. Another fish. I agree with it. This is what I'd probably do with sixes here. This is fine. A7 now with someone betting. The board isn't really for them. They should probably just fold this right here, but some people might continue it. And 7-8 should fold as well. Nice.
Yeah. All right. Any reason to look at this one?
I don't think so. Seems like a pretty standard multi-way one, unless other people want to.
This
The only
one-
thing would be is if the pre-flop raiser ever continues when checked to him, I guess is the only thing on the main flop, right? With
Yeah.
a jack 3.
And that was low jack. Yeah, low jack.
Yeah,
Low
against
blind
small and
range.
big.
And I wonder, because we've seen it, if small blind gets to donk this, if it has this donking range that we've seen a lot of, jack 3 of diamonds, jack of hearts.
Does it do it on a paired board as well? I know when it does it on too low boards, but I didn't realize
that's
it
what
did
I
it
was
on a pair.
wondering about.
Okay.
Not really, not much. Not like we've seen. So they check. Pure check from the big blind, which we've seen again and again and again.
This is the interesting one. A lot of betting. Thought it could be, right? You have a lot of overnets and you can have the jacks as well. I think it makes sense to bet here.
Yeah, and it's choosing the ace highs again. A lot of ace high checking back. Their specific hand, ace 7. Surprised to see ace 7 of hearts being the one. We've seen that before, Scotty. I remember you made note of that once. The backdoor hearts checking back as opposed to being part of the c betting strategy.
Yeah. Yeah. And the way we remember this, that makes it easy to remember is when you're about to make your bet and you go, how would I feel if I get check raised? So just ask yourself that question and you go, if I have ace 7 of diamonds, I'm okay. Say if I have ace 7 of spades or ace 7 of clubs, you go, I'm okay, because I'm going to fold. And when you have ace 7 of hearts, you go, God damn it.
Yeah, okay.
And so
I think also though, if you holding the a7 of hearts, you're blocking some of their check raise bluffs with holding the ace of hearts for
Yep,
their
all those are
backdoor bluffs.
Yep, all those are true, but I find it hard to think about that in game. So like
Yeah.
very often when we ask the question, what suits, I look at it and I go, oh yeah, or I go, what the fuck, why? And then I have to go through a whole thing of, oh, because it blocks and it unblocks this. And then I realized that if I tried to think of that without the solution in front of me, I would get a different answer. So while it's fun in our review to figure it out, it doesn't help me in game because I wouldn't know which way to go. Like I would go, well, the ace of diamonds is either really good or really bad. I wonder which. But
Yeah, fair.
for a heuristic you can use in game and actually get it right rather than just in class, look at the flop when you're considering the thing and you're thinking about your suit and you go, how would I feel if I get raised? And I think that will give us the right answer more of the time, and it'll be easy to get to quickly. That's my new shortcut. And if sometimes it gives us the wrong answer, maybe we'll get that, but maybe we'll figure out where that heuristic breaks down. But for now, that heuristic is working well.
Yeah, I think it's reasonable. If you're doing it with the 3 suits,
Right.
you may as well do it with the 4th. It's not going to be a huge one at
Yeah.
our player pool, probably.
Is that true? That's true too. And
Yeah.
then the other thing is the one we've seen it strongly on has been, 2 flush boards, but also they've been paired. So let's look on the next board where it isn't paired and see if that heuristic holds. Or let's before we're done with this one, Mike, when we're done with this one, let's look at this same setup, exactly the same, and just make it an unpaired board and see if that bluff does the same. See if the ace-7 does the same thing in the same position.
Okay.
All right.
So we got the turn, it checked through, and we got the turn with the 5 of clubs. The small blind now gets to come alive a little bit with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's because there's a 3-5 in there. It gives it hits potentially pairs and also straight possibility. Well, not gut shot, drawing straights.
Let's put it
Makes
weighted.
sense.
Maybe probably don't have a lot of that. So there's more of the weighted look to it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you're dense in these pairs that you've called and these stuff around a jack. Yeah. All right. So they checked they had a shit hand that they shouldn't have been in with. And then this was 6s in the big blind. So half time suits matter. Can't really surmise what it's looking for there.
Yeah, it's odd, isn't it? But it's doing it with
Yeah,
over half
this is
of
the one
them.
this is the one I'm not gonna learn yet.
Yeah.
It's
And what
there's
size
a
does it go for?
consistency here.
33.
Yeah, there's a consistency here to it, and we're gonna learn it at some point, but not yet. I'm learning enough other things.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that statement.
And it's always small. It looks like there's some slivers of some bigger bets in here. Gut shots.
Oh no, there is part of it that we know. There's part of the pocket pair, the thing we know, which is that in general you want the 6 of diamonds in your hand to call, so that when you hit your set, they don't. Oh, but in this case, it violates it because it's a paired board. So when you want them to hit a full house when you get your set. So I actually can explain these 6s here, but we don't need to learn it.
I don't understand why the different suits matter.
Okay,
their pocket
so-
boxes.
I'll go through my suit story, so let me take a picture of this image there. I'll go through it when, the next time we have to pause on a 41
Okay,
set
okay, okay.
analysis.
Good call. All right. So they bet their little B33 and we got folds all around, right? I think everybody folded.
Yeah, and then they folded after you bet.
Yeah, and that's all we really wanted to see there. Okay, cool. Good hand. Larry, are you back? We missed you on your turn.
Yeah, I'm back.
All right, let's take one. This is you.
All right. King 4 is too early. But no, 6s, I think, mix here. This guy's probably gonna open. Now it's hard to understand how we get multi-way. It should fold around to the blind, but I think, yeah, we're gonna call here. Queen 2 is a fold. Queen 9 here, I think actually against its early position, I think it falls into fold in a rake game. King 10 is a
Yeah.
call, but I think this is a fold in the rake game.
Yeah, I think that one was one of those cuspy ones that we saw. It got up there. It was there. It is.
Okay.
Hang on. Let's make sure we get the right positions because it was more like this with a call in position. Now let's see if how far up the queen X we go. Yeah, queen nine's a fold to
Yeah,
that.
it's a fold.
Yep.
All right. So let's go to a flop.
And skate to your thing about it's too good to fold. It's probably okay versus the players that you're seeing.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like Solver says fold it, but you're playing against players that are playing really good ranges.
Well, it
Okay,
also
so-
depends. It depends on the rake, right? If you're playing a chip EV game, this probably falls in.
That
But
too.
in a high rate game, this is gonna be a fold.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Well, we've got some fireworks here. First question is, do we have donks? I think I lean away from a donk in theory here. I think we'd prefer a rainbow board and we'd prefer it to be more connected. This is pretty connected, but not enough. So sixes, that was a great flop. I wouldn't mind a check raise here, but I think it's a really good place to protect your checking range. And if you want to grow a pot, the best way to do it is check raise. But I would imagine he's gonna bet here. I wouldn't bet big, I would bet small. I'd like a check raise. I would check raise here, just what he's going for. So villain has a hand that likes a bet. I think you've got a backdoor. No turn cards are good for you, but you're playing multi-way. What we see in this solver is that we do a lot of betting here. So I would imagine this falls into bet. And I think your only size here is a small bet. So this is fantastic, obviously, for sixes. One thing that's important, which really helped me live, is which I see other people making a mistake a lot with sets, is I don't think people realize how much equity they have here with sets. I mean, it's a really monstrous hand. So sixes are in a very interesting spot. What's their SPR now? The SPR is like what? 468. It's like 10. So it's not quite 10, it's like 8. I would I'm pretty indifferent here. I think both, I mean, when he expresses a deep love and affection for his hand, I want to slow play. But the other thing is that, which is important here too, is that there's a lot of scare cards. So maybe the way to think about this board is, what does he continue aggression on? And what does he shut down on? Now we can see he's got a hand that he's going to likely shut down on turn. It's very hard oftentimes there's going to be a card that's going to be bad for him. So we can see in this particular case, a fast play is good, right? The hands that he would continue on would be bluffs like his front door clubs, which you are blocking. I think you can go either way to this big size, right? We've got conflicting strategic interests. We've got a big size, which we check on more, which we call more, but we also have a hand which wants to get money in now before the board changes. I think generally I will go to a check raise here.
So Larry?
Yeah.
On this one, I think everything that you've just said is the exact right way to think about it. And it was exactly what I went through going through this going. Big bet says he loves his hand, therefore let's get the money and he loves his hand. But we know that against big bets, we check raise less often. What I think we both missed when we say we check raise less often, we go, meaning that we have to push ourselves to the top of our range for the check raise. Well, this hand is at the top of our range.
That's valid. I think the other thing
Yeah.
to think about, which is important, is that, you know, he might have 8-6, but probably not. But the other thing that's important is that there's a lot of turn cards that are going to slow him down.
So he has, so in our mind, there were a lot of check raises that we were gonna do against the 2.5 size that we aren't gonna do against the 7.6. But that didn't eliminate all of our check raises, and this is one of the ones we're gonna do. So we are happy to check raise this.
Yeah, I think this is, yeah, I
Right.
think you have a good point. I think this
Now,
is
but
very
here's
top
the
of
here's the
range.
last piece of that though, which is that's playing it on the Mark Goons model that he has just said that he loves his hand. Well, if he loves his hand, let's get 128 big blinds in. But the other model is that he is polarized, which means he has the top of his range or the bottom of his range. So against the top of his range and the bottom of his range, do we want to raise this? So that's my question. And I think we do.
Yeah, I think in theory, you're right. I mean,
If he's gonna
this
give
is-
up, if he's gonna give up after one bet with the bottom of his range anyway. So there you go. Those were things I wanted to say.
Yeah,
Now-
I think we have to think about, I think we think about what humans are doing.
Yeah.
Humans are not polar, they're linear. We know that humans are never as polar as solver.
Right.
unless
A
they're-
big bet size does not mean a human is polarized. It means he likes his hand.
Most of the time, yeah.
Right. Let's check raise him.
And the other part of his range that might use this big size is something with a shit ton of equity.
Yeah.
Which he's gonna call an H, is gonna be like a front door, king high, ace high, flush draw.
7-9 of clubs.
Seven,
I mean,
nine of
just-
clubs, yeah,
7-9 of clubs. The most equity you can have and still have nothing.
yeah. So, yeah, I think I like a check raise here.
And what's your check raise size? I think kind of healthy.
I
'Cause
think like
what-
24.
Yeah. 24, 28.
Oh,
Sure.
too small.
Yeah, it's okay. Bigger.
Well, you'll still be able to get it in 3 bets. So, yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
like-
it's good to
but
think
this
about what,
isn't-
what
Are
SPR
you
you
gonna get
want.
it in 3 bets,
36,
or are you gonna get it in 2 bets?
42. Yeah, you can get it in 3. 42, you'll go 75% and 75%. That's great.
So, Jack eight doesn't get to fold. I mean, Jack eight should now go through a process of understanding what the bluffs are. I mean, they're pretty face up, right? Just, you said 9-7 suited, which you shouldn't really have here, but he's got a lot of club draws that are gonna do this.
He's king of clubs.
So you call and you see what develops, especially with the backdoor equity.
Hey, Scotty, Dean asked, he has in these games, and you play a lot of 100 NL. Do you think the size is a tell? They have something, either a pair or flush draw. And I said, I've seen this to be pretty much anything from pure trash to high equity bluffs to monsters. I don't really glean much from the size versus this kind of player who's flatting, an early position raise and is already shown to be kind of fishy-ish.
Yeah,
I glean, so this is without statistical mass data analysis. This is just with having seen a lot of hands that I review with you guys and more that I review on my own. I see this big size as I want to end the hand now. I want a clear answer. So
Yeah.
this
And with that
is,
situation, they usually have like a top pair, good kicker, and there's
Yeah.
like a connected board with flush draw available. They're trying to like bet
Right.
big just to scare you
Yeah.
away.
right. I don't want the flush draw to get there. Or I have, and I have 9-8 or pocket nines. I have the best hand right now, but I don't think I'll have it in a second. I want the hand to be over. I have a flush draw and I'm afraid it's not going to get there. And I want the hand to be over. And if it's not over, at least I have a flush draw. Those are the things that I see this size with a lot. The Mike's nonsense, the absolute pure nonsense hand, is well, yeah, that's there too. From crazy people. All right, that's my answer. But I think I see less of the nonsense and more of the when you look at their hand afterwards, you go, I see what they were thinking.
all right, so,
This isn't pocket sevens.
so 7-9 gets there, which should be of interest to both parties here.
Mhm.
The question is, do you slow down? So you have to understand the kind of villain you have here, and if they have 9-7 suited. Or even off, some, especially live, some people are gonna have 9-7 off here. But I think generally now when your hand is downgraded against his filtered range, I think you still bet, but you don't actually bet polar here. I think you bet smaller now. You bet like 15.
Yeah, half is okay, I think here.
Yeah. I think you need to bet smaller when what's gonna call this check raise? Well, flush draws, top pair, and obviously 9-7, even though he should only have 4 combos. We should have no combos.
8.
But he's gonna have 4 combos, especially with the 40 B pip. So yeah, I think this size is appropriate.
Well, I'm going to
and
disagree with
What
this.
you think we should go bigger?
Yes, and here's why. I think we should still be sizing for getting it all in by the river.
Yeah, it might be a little bit of
He
monsters under
has
the
some
bed.
7-9s, and when he has 7-9s, we have 10 outs to boat up. We're not folding this, but now we've hamstrung ourselves against so much of his range now.
Yeah, I see your point. I
How
mean,
do we get
so
it in
the
against
the
pocket
one
jack?
thing that gives me pause here is what's gonna call a check raise. Now, obviously
Pocket
his
jacks.
hand is ideal, right? We've now locked up our equity. But what else is in that region? 9-7 shouldn't be in his region, in his
Right.
range this early.
Okay, so
But
when
that's certainly a combo that if he does have, he's gonna call to a check raise.
Right. So his club draws can still call my bigger
Yeah.
bet. I'm not betting pot and a half. I'm just betting the amount. I'm betting 75% potish I'm setting up,
You're still going geometric, right?
I'm going geo. Clubs
Yeah,
can
I think
still
you have a
call-
good point. It might be a little bit of a monstrous under the bed.
Yeah.
I
Clubs can
might be
call
a little
geo.
bit focused on, what a filtered range looks like.
But a filtered range also includes the 9-10 of spades, which is now hit top pair, and
Yeah.
the 9-10 of clubs, both of which, both of those combo draws, one the backdoor combo draw, the other the front door combo draw, have hit it. 9-10, 9 jack there, pocket jacks. I mean, pocket 9s have been downgraded, that's bad, and pocket 10s have me crushed, and that's bad. But
Yeah,
still
so I mean, if you do the
still want-
combinatorics, we are certainly ahead of his range.
Yeah.
There's very few combos. There's 3 combos of 10s, right?
Mhm.
And
Yep.
there's 4 combos of 9-7, and that's it. That's the only thing that's ahead of us.
Yeah.
I guess there's combos of 8s too. So, yeah, I think you're right. I think I might have a little bit of monsters under the bed syndrome.
Yeah.
So he down bets, he's, I don't know what he's gonna do here. Let's see what he does. He's gonna call. And arguably one of the worst cards in the deck.
Pretty bad.
Like probably the worst.
So at this point, I think we block bet or we check call.
Jack call.
Or like bet 8 or something.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
pay
8's a
the
block
god.
bet.
Yeah, he's gonna block bet. I like his block bet.
Oh, yeah, that's still a block bet size. Yeah.
And he gets it. The question is, does villain 1359 turn his? I mean, the issue with playing out of position is that he's telegraphing the value of his hand here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he's not, I mean, very few people are going to be protected in this sizing. They're not going to use their nut flush draw that just got there with the sizing. The question is, does he have any blockers? He doesn't have any blockers, which allow him. He doesn't really have any blockers, which allow him to bluff. He's not blocking the nuts, and he's not
He
blocking.
really wants to have one club in his hand to do.
Yeah, a club in your hand. He's just not blocking. He just good blockers to turn this into a
Yeah.
bluff. So I think he's a home. Interesting hand.
The jack is a blocker. The jack's a relevant blocker. So maybe do this with a jack of club. Maybe bluff it with a jack of clubs if you want to be a big boy bluffer.
Yeah. It'd be interesting maybe to see this in the solver, but it would be hard to give him his range is going to be so different.
I don't think we can give him Jack 8 suited.
No,
Yeah, it's just, I mean, maybe if we put him on button, he might
but
have more.
he's gonna have some. In this world, he may have some 9-8 suited, some 10-8, some not 10-8, 9-8 and 10-9, which makes sense. He might. If he doesn't, we won't solve it. We also won't have these same stack sizes.
By the way, I sent you some potential pre-flop solves to run, Scotty,
Okay.
on Discord if you wanted to.
Thank you. I'll look at that. I'll look at that tonight on my new computer.
Yeah.
So in their solve, they would have Jack 8 as a raise only.
Right.
Yeah.
But we do have 9-8 and 10-8, right? I mean, 9-8 and 9-8 and 10-9.
Not as a call.
No. Okay, then screw it. Then this is irrelevant.
Hey, Derek, you raising that Jack 8 in your games? You 3-betting Jack 8?
I'm folding. I am folding.
All right. That was Larry. We're back to the top of the list. Should we keep going?
Yeah.
Okay. And that would be moi. So we got folder King Jack's a little too early, but they may open it. And they don't. Good for them. Should get around to ace 3, which is not a pure open here. But you know that it's probably going to happen, and then we're going to get a call and a call. So
And we are pure opening ace 3 here. We are pure opening ace 2 here, right?
yeah,
I will not.
You're not?
No.
Think
I'm
about
always opening it.
I will
That's
tell you,
some-
Scotty, I'm with you. I raise it against most people unless the players in the blinds are, I got a few good hands on them, which I only have 12 hands on these players. So I would raise it. However, if I had been playing here for a little bit and I got like 100 hands on these guys and they're good, I would consider folding it.
And by good, do you mean that they 3-bet you pre-flop, or do you just mean they play well after the flop?
Yes and yes. Like if somebody had, I mean, we only have 12 hands on these players, but if somebody was sitting there with like a 21, 19, 12% 3-bet, if they were both like that, I would probably just fold it.
Yeah, I would worry about the 3-bet, but I don't think I would worry about them being good at post flop. I think I'd still raise the ace deuce, but not if they're 3-bet happy, I wouldn't raise it. And I'd also stop raising the ace 3 if they were 3-bet happy.
Yeah. So they do raise the ace 3. King 6 for me is a 3-bet. It's one of these weird ones that I'll throw in here, but that we know this guy will not. And pocket 4s will be a call.
Good call. That's a good call.
And then we get a flop. All right. King 6 of clubs should check. This doesn't look like this would have any qualities to it that would allow you to donk here. Pocket 4s should check. And ace 3. Do we want to see bet ace 3? With this combo, maybe if we had ace of hearts, ace 3 versus a small blind or big blind range, I think we could go either way. And I would probably default to probably just making a small c bet because people just don't defend well enough, I think. So I would probably c bet it, but we'll see what he does. He checks it. I think solver could go either way and maybe checks it a lot. I'm not sure what solver will say. King 6 now. Do we want to come alive? Probably not. I think probably just
There, no draw.
done.
Bet.
I mean, I just have still 2 players behind, just nothing else going on. I got a gut shot to a shitty end. Pocket 4s. No, I think I would just probably go here with my 4s as showdown, hopefully. And now we get to the ace 3, and nobody has bet. Should we start turning? I think our fold equity is not so great with this run out. Probably turn it into a bluff. Probably not. It probably should be, but I don't think I would. And they do check. We're gonna see a river. And 6 gets the low end. He should just check. I don't think he needs to bet. And he goes B50. 4s fold.
No value.
Ace 3 should fold. He'd be in a world of hurt if he got raised. And I think if somebody had an ace, naked ace of hearts and something like that, he could be in a world of hurt. But that one played out like that. I am curious. We're not going to get to see this in a solver because we can't do a button small blind, big blind.
You can put it in, you can put it in the
Derek,
cutoff,
are
but he won't have
doing-
ace three. There's a problem.
The what?
You can put it in the cutoff, but he won't have ace three. But he'll have ace three suited. So you can play it as ace, as the offsuit. You can play it as the wrong suit of ace three suited.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Get the same insight.
Do we get cut off in blinds?
Yeah, cutoff small. We get cutoff. But do we get both
Then
long
how do we call from small blind? We can.
Has to go all the way back to hijack to do it.
before there's a small blind call?
We'll call from button and then big blind.
They do, but Prometheus hasn't solved it for us. We sent them a note saying specifically that they should add this one. We
Yeah,
said-
they don't do it because it's such a rare, like there's just such a small, there's no small blind flatting really. It's just such a rare occurrence that small blinds flat a button raise.
Right. But that's in GTO. In the real world, we know that it's very common.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, for
We see
sure.
this
But
all the time, and that's why I asked them to solve it. I said, yes, the small blind is incentivized to 3-bet, but we see it all the time. Would you please solve this for us?
and that would be an exploitative sort of solve. It wouldn't really be GTO then.
Well, you could take the small blind's range that he has and just bother to run it. He just doesn't have very many hands,
Yeah.
but he does. I mean, remember the small blind.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, so you solve it for the rare occasion that it does happen.
Yeah, and then give us the full solve. And
But
that'll
it's
be-
not rare.
No, it's
it's
not
rare in
real life.
GTO.
Yeah, that we know it's not rare in real life. It happens all the time. But
Yeah.
when you consider the actual GTO strategy of a button raise and then get to the small blind, the flats are just, I mean, it's 0.5% of hands.
Right, but click on that 4.5% of hands. Click on the hands and now show them in full height. And you'll go, yeah, that's the range we see. It won't let us do it in this mode. But if you look at the hands they're playing there, yeah, I wouldn't, that's not surprising to see those hands.
Yeah, not at all. I mean,
Yeah. So that's what you would do.
but yeah, I think that's to answer Alep's question is why they haven't.
Yeah.
I think they're prioritizing like more common spots or something.
Yes. More common GTO spots.
But Derek, you were advocating betting on the turn, I think, right?
No pair, no draw. Yeah, I bet.
Small
And I
blind
want to
king
see, I want to see if the ace three bets on the flop at all. Go to the ace three of spades. We have it on the button.
Yeah.
Not,
We're not doing the solve. We're doing a different solve. Never mind. We didn't do the solve,
yeah, we have to go back to the hijack.
which you can. I mean, you'll still have the ace three.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's see.
Yeah.
So it was 10, 7 of hearts, 3 of clubs.
Yeah.
And if we had the ace 3 of spades or diamonds.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I'm gonna go back. What did we see? Was there donking? Oh yeah, look at the donks from the small blind. Because it's these middling cards, right? The middling cards.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you just give the small blind this range against the button.
Big
Yeah, a
blind.
lot of tens.
Some bottom pair bets,
Yeah.
some middle pair bets.
We're seeing some big bets sneaking in here in that in position C betting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So bottom pair, check or bet. And if you had the offsuit branch, let's pretend this was like a button with similar ranges. Would you say the ace of hearts betting more often? Ace of
Yes.
hearts 3, whatever?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I think I would, in the offsuit range, maybe I would only do it with the ace of hearts 3.
See if we can glean anything out of there. Okay.
Glean it from the ace jack, because the ace jack has a lot of checking. Ace jack or ace queen. Ace of hearts likes it.
Yeah, has more equity.
Yeah. And then you get that weird thing where you want neither of them. No, I'm not going to learn this. The difference between diamond club and club diamond.
And then, so Derek, back to your thing. You say bet the king 6, no pair, no draw. Everybody checked.
Well,
This is on the turn.
it's just like taking a stab for no reason, like no pair, no draw.
But you do have a draw.
Not a good time to bet, but if you think that your players play face up, like they bet when they have a hand and they check when they don't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you do have a
That's
draw.
the whole reason behind that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you
I'm
can
with you.
bet fold because you have nothing. You have no draw. So, oh, they blew me off my no pair, no draw. Oh,
Except Derek, you do have a draw.
what?
You have the ignorant end of the straight.
Yeah.
You do have that. So you might
guess
not
you
want to
have
get blown
that,
off
but-
that.
You have
But,
the
yeah.
stupid end of the straight.
Yep.
So, yeah,
Yep, you do.
I guess you could bet that.
Scotty.
Yeah.
New computer.
Yes.
You're up.
Oh boy, let's see how well my new computer can play. Fold, 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 king, queen raises. I think that's what we're gonna get. We get that. Okay, good. 6, 7 here is gonna call and can. It seems just fine, except for the fact that he has 20 big blinds. With 20 big blinds, he should not be calling 6, 7. It's not enough to
You don't shove it in there?
shove it or fold it.
Why would you call? Like, I would
No, I'm
shove
agreeing. I said he
100%.
shouldn't. He shouldn't fold. He shouldn't call.
Yeah. I'm shoving or folding like
Yeah.
20 big blinds. You got to get it in there.
Yeah, and it's a
Oh.
better it's a better fold than a shove, but he could shove it.
But
Having
the other
done
thing
that-
is the other thing is that 7 high doesn't play good hot cold, right? And
hot
if you
cold.
shove it in, you're going to be in a hot cold situation. So maybe that's why he's thinking,
What is hot cold?
like basically running it out, right?
Oh, okay. Well, 7 high has okay. So it has the advantage of getting the folds that are great, and when it gets called, it's never dominated. It's always 2 live cards, and that's good.
Yeah.
So 7, 6 is a better jam here than king 6. Well, it's obviously better than king 6
Oh.
because
Do you have you heard my theory about how to evaluate hot cold?
no, I've never heard hot cold.
Okay, you double the highest card,
Okay.
count the number of pips,
Right,
except ace counts for 15.
right.
And then you double the highest card. So 7 is 14,
14
plus 6,
plus
makes
6
you
is 20. Yeah.
And then you add 2 if it's
Suited. Right.
suited.
This is like what was it called? Dave, Gash. What was it called? It was sit and go end game theory. I don't remember
Well,
that.
that's basically
Sage.
that gives me the power
Yeah.
rating for hot cold. So
Right.
this is 14 plus 6
Plus 2, 22.
plus 2. So it's a 22 power rating.
Yeah.
Which is shit. Okay. So
Gotcha.
like king deuce offsuit, right? Would have a much better power rating. So for running if you're just running it out hot cold 7, 6
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
suited is shit.
Yes.
So 7, 6 would. So you could argue that you could just call here and take advantage of your position.
Yeah, but you don't have enough chips to take advantage of your position.
So it's basically
You can't
shoulda-
outplay
you
anybody
shoulda
with
chipped
20.
up.
Yeah. So this is a very good fold from him. But
Yeah,
he calls.
I agree.
And
I
then
agree.
of the remaining two people, both are good folds, but the queen jack is a better call than the 4-8. So let's hope it's the queen jack who makes the mistake because it's less of a mistake from the queen jack. There we go. Both should fold. Bad play is rewarded. King jack should check. King queen should check. 6-7 with 18 big blinds. Okay. In the real world, 6-7 should bet and they should bet small. In the world of having only 18 big blinds, maybe they should bet big.
I agree. Just shove it in there. I agree with you. Shove it in.
Yeah.
Just shove 18 in.
Just shove 18 in and or just shove in enough that you don't get called by a 5. You just make the overcalls fold. Yeah, I think that in this bizarre case, he should be betting 7 or 10 or all in. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
shove it in.
yeah, but that we're not gonna see that in solver. In the case where he has 100 big blinds, he should bet small. He bet 2.5. All right, but he checks. Jack queen should still check. King queen has showdown value. Does he have enough showdown value? It's the best king. He should check. And now, if 6-7 wants to ever win this hand, they should bet.
Yep.
And they do. And
Finally.
that should be enough. That should be enough. The king queen shouldn't call now because his counterfeit nature. All right, that's the hand.
All right. Derek.
Oh. Okay. Looks like Jax is going to bet. Twos is going to call. If he's just trying for set value, no, he folds. Ace king, 3 bets.
How about ace
Ace
nine?
nine calls
I will
first.
call too. Oh, wow.
Jesus. Oh, Jesus.
Ace 9 folds? Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, it's a perfectly good fold. I just didn't expect it.
Yeah, they were calling it ace 5 off.
Yeah, different guy. All right, ace king.
Receive. Here we go.
Why are you not raising?
Makes it 12.
No, he just calls.
What would you make it, Derek?
I'm making it 12 here.
Oh
Oh, he
my
calls.
God. Oh, wow.
Ace king has flats, but I can versus the EP, I think only. In the
What?
big
Yeah,
blind.
but do the flats go away when the caller comes in?
Oh,
It has flats against just the early position.
yeah.
Why
So
are you flatting? I don't know.
no, I mean I don't know why, but I'm solver likes it. I don't know why. I mean versus EP, maybe not against whatever
Because
this.
EP is because EP is the range where you can't say, oh, he never has aces or kings against my ace king. EP is tight,
Okay.
and
Villain.
you have to protect it.
Okay, 4
I think
high
you
is
should always
thinking,
squeeze here.
how can I
Yeah.
get all the money in? He wants to shove 52 big blinds into the pot.
Oh my God, horrible play is rewarded here.
So,
Holy
like,
shit!
you got your 4 high, so you think you probably want to get it all in, right? So I think that he's going to make a big check raise, maybe all in.
Yeah.
Okay,
The thing is, we can never put it to solver.
yeah. Ace King is thinking about Vegas and the Mirage. Top pair, top kicker. Let's go. He's gonna whack it. Oh, he bets 1. Oh, big blunder. Well, Jacks can call 1.
Yeah, they should.
And Villain's going to check raise to 15. What?
I was thinking maybe like 6 or 3.
This isn't making any sense. Okay. Ace King bet one. What's going on in his brain? So he calls the 3, and then Jax has got to call. Okay, now villain Mr. 34 has to pot it. Maybe bet 20. Oh,
Oh
too
my
small. Ace King's still as top pair, top kicker, still thinking Vegas in the Mirage. Yep, he raises. Jax says,
Now, yeah, Jax
out
is
of here. Villain got what he wanted, so he just gets the rest of it in.
Yep.
And Ace King calls like an idiot.
He's got a draw.
And there it is.
And there it is.
Ace King had a surprising amount of equity, by the
What
way.
was what
on
were
that
his pot odds he was being offered on turn after the check raise? Can we see that real quick? So after he gets check shoved on here,
He needs
27, 35. He's
He needs 35 and he only has 27. So
Okay.
he's losing some money on this, but only against this hand, this hand class.
Yeah.
And better.
Well,
But this is
he
what
thinks-
but that bet is saying I have this hand class and better. The bet is saying I have 2 pair or more.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that was a fun, interesting one. Yes, this is 100 NL on Ignition, everybody.
Okay.
Time to move up.
This
Come
is like
play.
an ad for Ignition.
Right. This is why Mike started playing this game. And by the way, the nine-handed game on Ignition, and I don't know why, seems to have worse players than the 6-handed game on Ignition.
The 9-hand?
The 9-handed we seem to see, it's not like we don't see bad play on the 6-handed, because I play both of them. But we seem to see worse play on the 9-handed game.
Well, my theory is that people who play 9-handed don't like to play short because they're such bad players.
Could be.
All right,
So
Larry.
I'd say in general, 9-handed is going to be
All right.
soft.
And then,
ready.
Larry, before you go, go back to that last hand. I just want to say one thing that I looked up in the solver. This is against without getting too specific, against the early position open, Ace King suited is in the GTO Wizard is 100% 3-bet, but the Ace King offsuit does some flatting. It flats the first position more than it flats the second position, which it flats more than the third position, before the low jack, right?
Mhm.
But when the small blind comes in, those flats, the Ace King offsuit flats move to more and more raises. There's still a few flats left, but this guy incentivizes the raise. If that guy was on the button with the call, so now you'd be out of position to 2 players, you 3-bet even more often from your
Yeah. But I think that this is a
Ace King.
100% 3-bet.
Yeah.
With Ace King suited.
Yeah, Ace King suited is 100% 3-bet, 100%.
Yeah.
All right,
What do the jacks do after the ace king raises?
they call.
Do they call or they shove?
No, they call.
They call, you sure? In cash?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
200.
Um,
Yeah.
To give you, let's see, if it's worse than that. If there's a guy in the middle, they don't. So if you're under the gun and you raise, so
Mhm.
this guy wasn't under the gun. He was low jack -1. I'll give you the number.
Show it, Larry. Show
Low
it.
jack -1. Big blind 3-bets you. It comes back on you. You fold a lot of your jacks.
Share your screen, Scotty. Show it to us.
Okay, I'll show the whole thing. Here we go. I can't share my screen yet because I haven't given permission to Zoom to do it. So,
Oh, okay.
so you show this. You show it instead.
Alright.
It's the new computer, and it doesn't. Not everything has permissions. No, I will.
And we want to see a call from the small blind first.
First, you want to do. Oh, yeah, we can do it that way. We'll do it in the 3-way, and we'll do it also in the heads up. So there's your call blind, your small blind call.
Raise. Oh, in this one, you only have 88 bigs, but it's okay. The effective stack is 88,
Oh, yeah. This is 200 NL.
200. Yeah.
Yeah,
but-
we're go to the 100.
Oh, yep. Good call. Good catch.
And this is live rake. Oh, okay, good. You got the live rake. So your jacks fold to it.
So there's your ace king in the big blind, and then jacks.
Fold.
Oh,
Yeah. when your jacks are that early. If you put yourself in the low jack or later to where your range is wider, you're now going to start calling your jacks, I think.
No, Jack's call.
But they don't, no, jacks are not trying to get it in when the jacks open early. Put yourself in the button with your jacks and you might, just jam on them. I don't know if you do.
Wait.
Turn
Oh.
off your low jack raise first. There's your raise. Now your call. Now your 3-bet. And now your jacks. Now your jacks can get it in. Because the jacks are higher in the range, because of what the big blind 3-bet you with. Does that make sense, A plus?
Yep, that makes sense.
Okay. Cool. All right.
Larry.
All right, cut off hijack, low jack. I do think eights get to open here. Ace queen 3-bet. That's not gonna happen. I think eights are gonna open. Ace queen's gonna flat. So not king 9 is a clear fold here to these early position EP and flat. You've got real domination issues with this hand, but he's gonna flat. I think this is a big error. We get this flop. Out of position with some backdoor action. I think we check. Ace queen here, with position, I think can bet small on this texture. King nine has either a check raise bluff or a fold, mostly a fold. No, he's gonna chase it. He's gonna chase his miracle jack. And eight's facing this kind of action. Despite having a backdoor multi-way, I think gets to fold. I would not call here. So, okay, so he's calling. He's being a little sticky. This is not a great card for ace queen. Both king 9 and 8 should check to the ace queen. Ace queen should check a lot here, multi-way. I would check here and see what develops on river. He's sizing down. I can understand his choice. King 9 should fold, 8 should fold.
So Larry, pre-flop, what's the worst offsuit you call a king 10, king queen?
In a UTG,
You know, here if you were big blind, like what's the worst versus two players?
Against that early two position players,
Yeah, what do you think? Offsuit.
I'd probably go up to king queen off here.
Right?
Because you got an early position of flat and the offsuit, I think I go all the way up to king queen.
Yeah, I like that.
I think you have to be careful with king jack and king 10 here have domination issues.
I think
Yeah.
king queen is also a little wide. I think
Yeah.
ace queen might be where I'd go.
Yeah, king queen might be a little too wide.
Let's see. How early were we talking? Give them somewhere in here.
Yeah.
We'll have to make the button flat for this. Let's see where king queen slots in. King queen is folding half the time, 3-betting the other time. Ace queen there.
Oh.
If we make it a 3x open. In here. And then we
And
can
this is pretty high rake too.
Yeah, we can get a call earlier here if we want. But let's just compare apples to the first one. King queen wants probably, yeah, even ace queen goes away.
Yeah, this rake is pretty punishing.
So this is similar to a live rake, or
Well, it depends on what you're playing, but.
Yeah, life 10%.
Yeah,
10%. Holy crap. What's the
yeah, I
cap?
know, it's horrible.
I think that's basically unbeatable, eh?
Two big blind cap.
With that cap, maybe it is. It's kind of, isn't that kind of like how California does it? Like just high rake, but low cap, I don't know. Okay,
Did you want
so,
anything else here? Where did we?
well, we're getting toward, I think we're getting towards the end of the session. Let's end on a more interesting hand to solve. I don't know if this is the most interesting hand to solve.
Okay.
Well,
By the way, if we go back to this hand pre-flop, ace queen should never be a flat here.
yeah, I would three bet or fold. I think we get the three bet it.
Yeah.
It's really early. Like I wouldn't be totally comfortable with it.
There
But
are
I
some
think
folds there, definitely. Three bet is also okay,
yeah,
but
I think I would prefer, I would never flat it this early.
Okay, Aleph, you're up. You ready for yours?
okay. Okay, so ace five opens. The other ace five folds, hopefully. They will call, of course. Then eights will call too. Fold, 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 I hope. I think we check most of our range here. Oh, wow. And this guy folds, the other calls, probably. Or you may even like re-raise. But calling is better, I think. Oh, wow. Okay. So call, probably. So obviously it's a check. Hopefully, I mean. They bet, probably. Like 60% or something. Half, 60%.
Should they?
Probably they will. Half, yeah. Do we get the money in or we just because we block a straight flush, one of them at least. Yeah, I would call. But then it's hard, like what are you gonna do on turn? You'll just check back to him hoping that he will shove. If you're gonna get money in, you might as well do it now or also. Because he will probably put the rest in. I don't know. So you will call probably.
What do you think they should do? Is that a good call or is that a bad call?
For 8-8?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, assuming that they have already a flush, we have out. But they might have a straight here also. It doesn't necessarily mean that they have a blocker also. But I would it depends on the player, but there are some faults here.
Here's what we know about the player. This is just 37 hands with this player. They've been pretty solid.
Oh, then it's a fault probably. Yeah, BPIP 19%. They're like quite tight. They look solid, so you can respect that. But they might also do it with like ace of diamond blocker effect or something like that.
What does the room do here?
Panic.
Well, first of all, with eights,
Yeah, with the opening and straight draw. But the ace is still active.
The open-ended straight draw that might not be
It
good.
might not be good, right?
You have
gonna-
two outs you know are good. You know you have two outs.
I mean,
Yes.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. I don't bet the turn, so I just don't know what I do here.
Skate, that's a good point. I think the turn was the mistake.
I agree. The turn bet was a mistake. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
I think this is a fold. You've you check raised the flop and they called, and then you've bet, and now they've basically check shoved. I think you've just got to fold here. Because even if you do have two outs, which we know you don't, but even if you do have two outs, that's like 4%. Right? You argue that they very likely have the flush here. If they don't have the flush, you're hoping they have trips or straight, and you're drawing thin.
What if they have like a pocket pair with one diamond? Wouldn't they do the same thing here?
So yeah, if they do though, but the diamond's probably higher than your diamond, so you're still drawing thin, right? So even if they are bluffing here, let's say they are bluffing that they have a pocket pair over with kings, queens, aces, right? You're still
There are
losing
also
some if
ace
the diamond
king,
comes in.
ace queen.
Yeah, there is
That's
ace king. That's not pocket pair though, is it? But yeah,
Yeah, like a pocket pair and ace of diamonds. They're here. Mostly
yeah.
pocket
I don't
pairs.
think ace king here though would be check shoving this. I don't know, to someone who's who's raised on the flop and then calls the raise and then check shove. I don't think you do that with ace king. Obviously, there's some people who would, but yeah, I think that's a small amount. I think this realistically is an easy fold. The person saying
Yeah,
that
I would
they're
fold
happy
this.
with their hand, and you would just
Especially against the
save.
player. If it's
Yeah.
like a whale, of course you'll call, but against this player, it's a snap fold. Like 90%, I think.
Yeah, you're saving yourself nearly 60 big blinds folding here most of the time. So
Yeah, I wish that was in my ears at that time. But here's where I think the mistake was biggest. The biggest mistake was here.
Yeah. Yep.
This one is,
Yeah.
of course.
yeah,
Why
Yeah.
would you
You're
bet
putting
any
your-
half? I knew that they were gonna do that, but I wouldn't do that.
And then also, I mean, in my opinion, I could assume that they are not likely to do this with
Well,
a
that's the
single
kind of
ace.
mistake that I make.
Yeah, like a single diamond, because like after putting in 50% of your stack and you're betting like half pot on turn, I don't think the villain's gonna find like a single ace play a diamond bluff here
Yeah.
at this depth.
I would make that kind of mistake, I think. Betting,
Scotty, I think I remember this hand,
Strong.
and I had your speech in my mind about if I bet here, do I mind getting raised? And at the time, I was like, hell no, I don't mind. I'm getting it in. I got an open-ended straight flush draw for fuck's sakes.
Right.
And
But it turns out after he raised, I'm like, oh,
Find it. And you went, I'm not happy.
yep.
But it's
Yeah.
very hard to fold this hand, really. I give you that.
Yeah, I make that mistake of thinking exactly that line. I got an open-ended straight flush draw and my trips might be good. Right? So, yeah, I think I lose money here.
All right. Well, that we happen to be a hero hand. We could end here with tradition.
That makes sense. Yeah, we also have, because a lot of us have another class at 1 o'clock with Jonathan Little today on cash games.
Yeah, it's actually free. So if you're not a member, all you have to do is create an account and you can get to the link to the session, but it's free if you have an account.
I
Yep.
saw the last Jonathan Little yesterday, and
Yeah.
I took some notes, and I thought it was very good.
He's great.
Okay, how to join?
Just go to poker coaching and create an account for free. I'll type the link.
Okay.
And then while
And
you're
when
typing
is it?
that in, does anybody remember what was the rule? Was the rule 10, 15, 20, pair suited connector and draw? I said draw, pair suited connector and suited ace. I said, I typed it wrong. Was it 10, 15, 20, or were the numbers different? The one that we used to talk about going, I need 10 to 1 to set mine and things.
I think set mine was 10 to
Live
1.
now? JL is live now? Why is he live now?
Set mine is 8 to 1. I think set mine was 8 to 1 and flush money is like 20 to 1 or something like that.
Well, it was the odds that you wanted. Oh yeah, it's just sitting there free. JL's live now? Why did you write JL is live now,
Is
Larry?
it live in Discord or is it off of the website?
I
He's
think
live
it's
on YouTube.
yeah, YouTube, Twitch. I think.
Oh,
Right.
okay. Oh, he just happens to
So
be there.
you can also watch from
I'll wait for
Twitch
the
rather than
wait for a
joining.
regular thing. Okay.
Think so.
Alright, so what's the plan
Yep.
next week, Scotty? Are you around?
I'm around next week. Yep. Straight up.
Okay, great.
All right.
Multi-way madness must continue.
Multi-way madness must continue. This is
And
gonna get.
congrats on the new toy.
So far it's working good.
Yeah, I like it.
We're doing the webinar at 4 o'clock on pokercoaching.com.
All right. See you guys.
Alright, bye.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye
See
bye.
you all.
Th-
Bye.
Thanks. I learned a lot from you guys.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah. I appreciate it.
Good game. Good luck out there, everybody.
Yes.